Dear students, in this session, let us learn about the extension of the British rule, the second chapter in history. In this chapter, let us learn the wars fought by the English with the Indian rulers and the consolidation of the British power, and also about the subsidiary alliance and about the doctrine of lapse. The English waged wars with the Marathas. They also fought wars against Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan and fought wars with the Sikhs. The wars fought by the English against the Marathas are known as the Anglo-Maratha Wars. The wars fought by the English against the Mysorean rulers are called the Anglo-Mysore Wars. The wars fought by the English against the Sikhs are known as the Anglo-Sikh Wars. In India, 3 Anglo-Maratha wars were fought, 4 Anglo-Mysore wars were fought, 2 Anglo-Sikh wars were fought. The 3 Anglo-Maratha wars are the First Anglo-Maratha War, the Second Anglo-Maratha War, and the Third Anglo-Maratha War. The 4 Anglo-Mysore Wars were the First Anglo-Mysore War, the Second Anglo-Mysore War, the Third Anglo-Mysore War, and the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War. And the First Anglo-Sikh War and the Second Anglo-Sikh War. The English fought these wars to consolidate their power in India. Let us learn the causes and consequences of all these wars one by one. Already in the first chapter, you have learned about Carnatic Wars, the Battle of Plassey, and the Battle of Buxar. After these wars, the English gained control over Bengal. By 1765, they gained control over most of the eastern parts of India. Gradually, the English became successful in southern India and also western parts of India and also in the northwestern region of India. The English annexed various kingdoms with cunning policies like subsidiary alliance and doctrine of lapse. Now, children, let us understand first about the subsidiary alliance. Lord Wellesley, who came to India as the Governor General of India, followed 3 policies to expand the British Empire in India. They were subsidiary alliance, second one, waging war against new states, and third one, administering the states directly that were under the control of the British. Lord Wellesley introduced the policy of subsidiary alliance in 1798 in order to bring the Indian states under control. Subsidiary alliance was basically a military protection agreement between the East India Company and the Indian state. Now, let us know the important conditions of the subsidiary alliance. The first one, the Indian king had to keep the British army in his kingdom. Second one, the concerned state had to bear the expenses of the army and the wages of soldiers, and also had to give certain revenue lands as well. Third one, the king has to have a British resident in his court. Fourth one, the king could not appoint any other European without the permission of the British. Fifth one, in order to enter any agreement or pact with any Indian government, the permission of the Governor General was mandatory. Sixth one, in return of all these services, the company would offer protection to the state from any internal or external aggression. So, all these were the 6 conditions of subsidiary alliance. So, as far as this subsidiary alliance, the Indian ruler who signed subsidiary alliance should not wage war or should not enter into any agreement with any other Indian ruler without the permission of the English. And the Indian ruler who had signed subsidiary alliance had to keep the British army in his court, and he was supposed to bear all the expenses of the army. And such a Indian ruler was supposed to keep a British resident in his court. So, they were the important conditions of subsidiary alliance. Now, let us know the Indian states which signed subsidiary alliance. The first Indian state to accept subsidiary alliance was the state of Hyderabad. Afterwards, the state of Mysore, the state of Awadh, the state of Tanjavur, the state of Maratha, Pune, Berar, Gwalior, and also other states entered this agreement. So, this subsidiary alliance was introduced only with one intention, to bring the Indian states under their control. So this was one of the important policies followed by the English to have control over Indian rulers. So this is all about subsidiary alliance. Now, children, let us learn about the Anglo-Maratha Wars. The first Anglo-Maratha War was fought between 1775 to 1782. The main cause for First Anglo-Maratha War was after death of Madhavrao Peshwa first, his brother Narayan Rao came to power. But he was murdered by his uncle Raghunath Rao, who wanted to become the Peshwa of the Maratha kingdom. But the Maratha Federation brought Madhavrao II, who was the son of Narayan Rao, to the post of Peshwa. Upset with this development, Raghunath Rao approached the British for support. The British thought of exploiting this situation in their favor. A long war was waged from 1775 to 1782 between the Marathas and the British. Initially, though Marathas gained upper hand, later they had to lose Allahabad to the British. The Maratha Federation, unable to sustain the war with the British, finally entered Salbai Agreement and ended the war. Madhavrao II was named as the Peshwa. So this is all about the first Anglo-Maratha War. Now let us know about the second Anglo-Maratha War. The second Anglo-Maratha War was fought between 1803 to 1805. The causes for this war were the differences among the Maratha chiefs, for example, an enmity broke out between Yashwantrao of Holkar family and Daulat Rao of Scindia family, along with Peshwa Balaji Bajirao II. In 1802, the army of Holkar defeated the army of Scindia and the Peshwa. The Peshwa appealed for help from the British. Lord Wellesley finally got an opportunity to meddle with the affairs of Marathas. The Peshwa Balaji Bajirao II signed the subsidiary alliance by accepting the Treaty of Bessin, and other Maratha families like Holkar, Gwalior and Bhonsle formed their own alliances opposing the Treaty of Bessin. Lord Wellesley defeated the armies of various Maratha families from 1803 to 1805, but his battle increased the financial burden on the company. On being criticized for this policy, Lord Wellesley resigned from his post and returned to England. This resulted in peace in the region. So, due to the differences that occurred among Maratha chiefs, the Second Anglo-Maratha War was fought, and the British took advantages of the difference of opinions among the Maratha rulers. So, this is all about Second Anglo-Maratha War. Now, let us learn about Third Anglo-Maratha War. The Third Anglo-Maratha War was fought between 1817 to 1818. Now let us know the causes for Third Anglo-Maratha War as well as the consequences. Now the causes. The Maratha families tried their best to protect their independence and honor. Even the Peshwa attempted to be free himself from the clutches of the company. The Peshwa attacked the British residence in Pune and burnt it down. So this was the main reason for Third Anglo-Maratha War. Later on, Appa Sahib of Nagpur and Malhar Rao Holkar rebelled against the British and were suppressed ruthlessly. Finally, Peshwa Bajirao II fought against the British at Koregaon and Asti and later surrendered to the British. The British abolished the Peshwa post and granted a pension to Bajirao II. They installed Pratapa Simha, the descendant of Shivaji, as the ruler of Satara, and named him as the traditional leader of Marathas and suppressed the Maratha resistance. So this is how the Third Anglo-Maratha War was ended. Children, before going to learn the Anglo-Sikh Wars, let us know about how the state of Punjab was established and who established it. British, after establishing their colonies in the Maratha and Mysore provinces, they saw an opportunity to establish their colony in the Punjab province too. The state of Punjab, which is also known as the Sikh state, Sikh, the spelling Sikh, the Sikh state, was established by Ranjit Singh. He was born in 1780 and died in 1839. He was a very famous and powerful ruler of the state of Punjab. He ruled the state of Punjab and expanded it by gaining control on Amritsar and Ludhiana. During his period, he maintained very good relations with the British, and he also signed a friendly agreement with the British in 1809. As he was very powerful and strong, came to be known as the Lion of Punjab, and is also considered as the famous ruler of the state of Punjab. After his death in 1839, his son by name Dulip Singh came to power. Now, the Sikh wars were started between Dulip Singh and the British. After the death of Ranjit Singh, the British, by violating the friendly agreement that was signed between the British and Ranjit Singh, they tried to invade the state of Punjab. So, in this way, the first Anglo-Sikh war was started. Now, what happened? Sensing the danger from an outside force, the Hindus, the Sikhs, and the Muslims of the state of Punjab joined together to defeat the British. But finally, they had to accept defeat in the hands of the British, and the Sikhs signed a humiliating treaty known as Lahore Treaty. So, in this way, the first Anglo-Sikh war was ended. Now, let us know about the second Anglo-Sikh war. After first Anglo-Sikh war, Dulip Singh had to accept the doctrine of subsidiary alliance. Upset by this, the soldiers of Punjab rebelled against the British. As a result of this, the second Anglo-Sikh war took place between the Sikhs and the British. In this war, the British defeated the Sikhs and brought the state of Punjab under their control. It was Lord Dalhousie who merged the state of Punjab with the British Empire. So, this is how the second Anglo-Sikh war was ended. Now, the British had complete control over state of Punjab. So, this is all about the Anglo-Sikh wars. Now, let us know about another important policy followed by the British known as the Doctrine of Lapse. Lord Dalhousie, who arrived in India as the Governor General in 1848, made an attempt to integrate Indian princely states with the British Empire. He adopted Doctrine of Lapse policy, whereby the adopted children of Indian kings were refused of their rights to throne. According to this policy, if any Indian ruler dies without children, their adopted children had no legal right over the throne, and such states get merged with the British Empire. Princely states like Satara, Nagpur, Sambalpur, Udaipur, Jhansi, Jaipur came under this policy. As the Governor General knew the conditions of these states, he used this policy as a political weapon. With the severe implementation of this policy, not only the princely families, even ordinary people who sympathetic to these kings rebelled against the company. Their love for their kings and the sense of loyalty fueled this rebellion further. This finally resulted in the Sipahi Mutiny of 1857. Okay, children, this is all about doctrine of lapse, which was introduced by Lord Dalhousie in order to bring the states for which there was no real hire. Okay, thank you, children.